Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Profitability Power Hour. I'm your host, Wendy Y. Bailey, known as your Income Acceleration Mentor. I'm a master business and sales coach. And the Profitability Power Hour is a weekly Facebook Live talk show where I'm actually coming to you, giving you a little bit of content and sharing things that will help you grow your bottom line profits. So for the past, 5 weeks, we started about 7 weeks ago. And so for the past 5 weeks, I've been focusing on the top 10 profitability strategies. Thus far, I've talked about the art of repurposing. I've talked about how to tap into your inner sales coach. I've shared how to increase your fees. I've talked about hosting engaging webinars. And today I'm going to talk about profitability strategy number 10, which is measure your progress. What you track grows is a law of attraction strategy. It's a law of attraction principle. So when you're tracking your progress, you can see the micro wins. You can see the little shifts in the needle. You can see your growth and your progress, and you can adjust whatever accordingly. So today I want to tell you about something I do every month. I'm going to give you sort of an overview of it so you have a sense of what it is. And I'm also going to invite you to join me. I have a masterclass that's related to selling coming up just this evening, and I want you to go there and sign up for it. So I'm going to give you 2 links as part of today's episode. I'll tell you where you can find the profitability strategies. All top 10 of them, you can find them at extremeprofitability.com. Extremeprofitability.com is where you can find them. And so far, I've talked about number 1, number 9, number 4, number 5, and today is number 10. Again, measure your progress because the law of attraction says what you track grows. I started last year in 2017, sort of looking at what my numbers were across social media and across, all of my online channels. And it helped me tremendously to see where I could make adjustments because, something was working and I wanted it to work a little bit more. It helped me to focus my efforts in my daily income producing activities. And so I want to give you just a little bit of a snapshot of what that looks like. If you're joining me for the replay, remember to share the video. This this show is being broadcast from my personal Facebook profile, my business page on Facebook at Wendy Y. Bailey Biz is the extension from Facebook.com. And I'm also simulcasting in 4 or 5 of my private Facebook groups. So you may be watching this in one of the groups. So be sure that you leave a comment, let me know that you're here. Do a hashtag that says replay so that I know you were able to catch the replay, like the video so that I know you watched it. All of that lets me know that this is serving you well and I can continue doing it. I want some real insight into what you want. So if you have questions, you can post your questions below. And of course, I will respond to your questions. If you're watching the replay on YouTube, my YouTube channel has a playlist of all of the previous episodes. So you can go to YouTube and find me at Wendy Y. Bailey. And all of the previous episodes will show up there. Leave a comment there, like the video there. Let me know that it's something of valuable to you and I'll just continue doing it. So today's episode, again, is all about what you measure. Measure your progress. So what you track and what you measure grows. Again, it's the law of attraction principle. So let me tell you where to get started with that. Some of the things that you may not be using that are totally accessible to you and totally free are all of your analytics and metrics. They're analytics related to your website. They're analytics related to your social media profiles. If you have a Facebook group, they're analytics related to that. If you have a Facebook page, they're analytics that you can look at related to that. You can look at traffic patterns in your Google Analytics on your website. If you do not have a Google Analytics plugin on your WordPress website, then you need to add it. If you do not have a WordPress website, you can always go to Google Analytics and actually enter your website in there, and you can still track it just by copying and pasting a little code on your website. So that's just one little tip to give you there. When you are tracking, what happens is you see the little shifts in the needle. You see the incremental growth. You see the micro wins in whatever you're doing. And here's what I mean. When I first started on Instagram, and Instagram is really about pictures and videos and the post, picture quotes. All of those things are part of Instagram. So you can now do live stories. You can do, a lot of cool things with them. I don't do a whole lot of that, but you can do a whole lot of stuff with Instagram. And when I first started on Instagram, I want to say it was 2016 was when I first joined Instagram. It's been, within the past couple of years that I joined. I didn't really know what Instagram was about. And at the time that I joined, I was, actually, I might have joined in 2015. I don't remember. It's been a couple of years ago. But when I first joined, I remember that I didn't feel like I was getting seen. I didn't feel like people saw me. I didn't feel like I was getting known. And at the time, I was mentoring a millennial who was part of a program that I was coaching as part of. And I mentioned to her that, my Instagram followers, I didn't seem to be attracting many. I think I had less than 200 followers at that point. And she said to me, try making your account private. And I said, well, why would I make my account private if I want to be seen, if I want to get known? And she said, well, what I've discovered, and this is a millennial trick, she said, what I've discovered is when you make your profile private, more people want to reach out and connect with you because they feel like it's a privilege, it's an honor. So I started doing that. I did that for probably about 6 months. I did that. And I watched the people that I knew, the people that I wanted to follow me, begin to follow me. So after a while, as I started to grow and I got to about 700, 800 followers on Instagram, I made my profile public. And when I made my profile public, that meant that anybody could see it and everybody could see it. And in 2017, I actually started trying to leverage the platform, Instagram specifically, to see what I could get out of it. So I started using some picture quotes, and they were picture quotes of some of my favorite quotes from thought leaders from many centuries ago, or, recent thought leaders, and some of my own quotes, some of the Wendy Y-isms that I'm known for. And I started creating picture quotes. In the first 3 months of 2017, I had surgery, so I wasn't able to really be on camera. I wasn't able to be in front of the camera taking pictures because of the surgery that I had. And what I discovered is I kind of enjoyed taking those little quotes and creating pictures and finding really cool images to add my quotes to, and just going back and looking at what I had said and what I had done. And so I created a ton of quotes, and I was posting about 4 times a day on Instagram. Now, I'm not suggesting that you do that because I don't do that anymore. But because I had the time, I was doing that. And what I discovered is my Instagram following picked up in conjunction with how often I was posting. So I went from like 800 to 1,000. Then I went from 1,000 to 1,500 to 2,000. And now I have over 3,000 Instagram followers. And what I tend to do is I post picture quotes. I post stories every now and then. I want to get better at that. And then I post photos when I'm out networking, and I post some food stuff to give some personal insight into who I am and what I like in terms of being a foodie. And it's really, if you go to my profile, Wendy Y. Bailey, that's what I am on all platforms, what you'll see is my followers are growing. And what I've noticed is the more specific the hashtags are that I use in each post, the more that attracts the kind of clients, the kind of followers, the kind of people that I want looking at my profile. So I get a lot of coaches, I get a lot of speakers, I get a lot of thought leaders, I get people who are my peers, I get people who are people that I admire, there are people who are my mentors, people who I want to mentor and they want me to mentor them. So Once you get into a flow of what your hashtag looks like, then your Instagram following based on your post, you can attract based on those hashtags. And the algorithm has changed a bit. And because now my profile is open, it's public, Instagram actually puts it into the search, if you will, so people can find me based on how my images look or based on what my videos look like. People click on it and they can like it, whether they're following me or not. And depending on the video, depending on the quote that you use, the image that you use, depending on all of that kind of stuff, what happens is you show up in the search. And when you show up in the search, all of a sudden, you're attracting people that you might not have attracted. The other thing that I do as part of my Instagram strategy is I go and I look for people who are doing similar work. I look for people who are my potential ideal clients. I look for people who are people I'd like to mentor, people that I see in the marketplace. All of that really does contribute to growth on Instagram specifically. And it also helps me to know where and how to adjust whatever I'm doing. So measuring what you do, measuring your growth, your progress, helps you to know what's working and what's not. I discovered just looking at hashtags, which hashtags really work. I discovered by using certain technology and certain tools, which ones are effective for me across all of my platforms. And I discovered how to automate a lot of things specifically on social media. And what I've also discovered is every time something is happening with social media, certain parts of my social media, I can see an impact to my email list. And when I can see an impact to my email list, I can see an impact to my bottom line profits, to my sales, to everything that's happening with people attending my webinars or master classes. All of it's tied together. So I feel like I've kind of rambled, but I wanted to come on today and tell you to be sure to track what you do every single month. And I've told my More Coaching Client Sales and Marketing Academy students, what I've told them is what you track grows, and that's how you build massive marketplace visibility and influence. That's how you build it. And when you have massive marketplace visibility and influence, it's going to be translated into more people on your webinars, more people in your pipeline, more people on your email list, and more sales. Okay, more sales. Every month, I go through a process. This is a strategy I want to give you. I have a document, an Excel worksheet, that spreadsheet that I use that has all of my social media numbers. I started in April of last year tracking. And I can see the growth from April of last year to April of this year. I can see what happened last month and compare it to this month for all social media platforms. They all have analytics. They all have numbers that you can look at. And so the first tip is to track, create a spreadsheet. I have one that I've given my academy students. Create your own Excel worksheet. And every month, set aside an hour to go through every platform and see how you're doing. Go to your bank account and track that number as well. Go to your sales and whatever tool you're using for your CRM and track those sales. Go through and do all of that. Every month, spend about an hour writing down, recording all of those analytics. And then you can go back and analyze. The second thing I want you to do is when you see those numbers based on what platform you want to leverage the most next, or if you're seeing traction, if you want to elevate it even more, then you can adjust whatever you need to be sure that happens. And what I mean by that is, since I've talked about Instagram, let me stay on Instagram for a minute. When I saw that my Instagram numbers were growing, my followers were growing, I looked at who was following me. I looked at where those new followers came from. And based on that, I discovered that I didn't have to post 4 times a day. I was effective at posting, a couple of times a week, because that was a whole lot for people to consume. It set the tone for what people could expect from me in the way of content on the platform. But when I saw where it was coming from, I was able to adjust my posting to create or to really continue that without it burning me out, without me burning my followers out by posting so much. So that's an adjustment that you can learn. I want to say this about Twitter. Twitter has analytics too. And so every month in that hour, I go look at my Twitter analytics. And what I discovered was there were some automated posting that I had going on. And last year, my automated posts were getting more traction. They were being retweeted more than my original content that I was posting. So what I did is I turned down the volume on the automatic posting, and the source of automatic posting was not from me. So it was curated content from someone else. Okay, it was curated. And I'll say something about that in just a minute. But when I started turning up the volume on my original content, I saw it being retweeted. I saw people liking it a whole lot more. I saw people clicking through my links, okay, to see what those links led them to. And I saw my email list grow when I turned up the automation on my original content. But if I wasn't measuring that, I would not have seen that. If I wasn't looking, at the most tweeted tweets I had and the most traffic I had for certain tweets, I would not have known that. That's why it's so important to measure your progress. It's important to track your progress so that you see where you can make the tweaks and adjustment to impact your growth in a much more effective way. Curated content, I want to say something about that. Curated content is something that is content that's produced by someone else, and based on it being produced by someone else, they've made it public, and you can access that content in a way that shares what they're posting to highlight, to support, to empower, more of what you're doing. Because, it's great to curate content. And let me tell you why. A couple of years ago, when I got into this curated content thing, and I knew about it before, but I hadn't really looked at it and automated it. But I looked at it and I automated it in 2016. And when I started doing that, there were 2 people who came forward, and now there are a total of 3 people who actually curate my content. And what they've done is they've taken a content curation tool, and they've said, whenever Wendy Y. Bailey posts something, I want you to add it to my curated app, and I want you to post it and acknowledge her for her content. That's basically what the app and the tool does that they use. So 3 people did it. So now all of a sudden, not only do I have my 9,000 and something Twitter followers that are looking at it, I have, I want to say it was like 26,000 one person has followers that they have, and then the other one had, 18,000, and then the most recent one has 8,000 followers or something like that. That's expanding my reach. That's expanding my influence, because now it's not just me posting my stuff. It's 3 other people with those numbers also posting my stuff. So curation is great, and it's ideal for you to really shore up your content if you don't have a lot right now. It's also a great way for others to see you and expose your content and your influence to their followers too. So if you didn't hear me, let me make sure I repeat it. Profitability strategy, it's number 10, measure your progress, understanding that what you track grows. I talked about analytics across every platform, so you can do that. I shared that you want to be very intentional about it and set aside at least an hour once a month on your calendar where you're actually looking at all of your numbers and evaluating and measuring what you're doing so that you can make any necessary shifts, changes, adjustments so that you can make the difference there. Okay. The next thing I talked about was curated content. Make sure that you are attractive to people who are willing to share your content across their platforms to expand your followers and influence in the marketplace. And if you didn't hear me say it, I'll just repeat it just so you get it. Automation is really important when you're talking about growing your influence, whether it's Facebook, Twitter, your website traffic, LinkedIn, YouTube, Google Plus, Instagram. All of those have analytics that you can measure every single month. And there are automation tools that plug into all of that. Last thing about automation, it's great to automate, but you want to be live somewhere. You want to be interacting live with people across some platforms. And when you begin to track and measure and, make adjustments and shifts in a way that really supports and serves you, what you're going to find is you can make the necessary adjustments that will lead to more email subscribers, more sales, more clients, and everything, because it's all connected. It's totally all connected. So go to youtube.com and look at the playlist in my channel. I'm Wendy Y. Bailey. We've been talking about profitability strategy number 10. This is episode 7 of the Profitability Power Hour. I'm here every Wednesday around 5 p.m. Eastern, and I'm so glad that you've been here. Remember, if you're on the replay, post in the comments, #replay, share the video. I'm here every week, and I want to make sure you know about a masterclass that I'm doing this evening. It's called Next Level Selling Success Secrets. You can find out more about it at nextlevelsellingSecrets.com. nextlevelsellingSecrets.com. I've given you 3 links today. The first is to download all of the top 10 profitability strategies at extremeprofitability.com. Then you can go to my YouTube channel if you've missed the previous episodes and catch the replay of all 7 episodes. That's at youtube.com/Wendy Y. Bailey. There are 2 Y's in the middle. And you can also join my masterclass. It's a sales masterclass. I always chalk them with lots of content. Go to nextlevelsellingSecrets.com and you can sign up there. This has been the Profitability Power Hour. Thanks so much for being here. I look forward to serving you in the future. I'm Wendy Y. Bailey, known as your Income Acceleration Mentor, and I will see you next time. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.